Happy Halloween, Gothamites. Welcome back to Batman Arkham Knight. Today I'm joined by a very special guest. He's not a doctor, but he plays one in LP. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. I'm Doc Shibbotech. Well,
Good introduction.
kind of Doc.
Yeah, so Shibbotech has been playing I think you just started the Trauma Center. I'm not sure how far you've gotten into it yet.
As for what's actually been posted, we're about a third of the way through the game at this point. Doing a little side video every now and then as well.
Of course.
Your driving skills are impressive.
So I was kind of thinking that the Batmobile would stay on the ceiling when I was going around it, but nope, that didn't happen. And yeah, I just couldn't get the proper torque necessary for that one. So something interesting actually happened between recording the last video and recording this one. The last video might have been a little bit longer, but while I was on the elevator to come down here, the game crashed.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so this is new recording for me. And so there are some trophies in the game that are a little difficult to find, and they're the ones down here in the subway system because they actually appear as though they are on Founders Island, but they're not in Founders Island. They're inside the subway system. You have to, and the subway system has a different map. It just, I don't know, it's bizarre. So yeah, I have to manually go into the subway system to see this stuff. It's strange. And you can't actually mark that stuff at all. I remember the first time I was going through playing and doing all the Riddler stuff, I kept looking around wondering, where's the last stuff? I can't find the last stuff. It's not here anymore on the map. I know I've got it marked. There are no more Riddler informants. It was this stuff.
Yeah, that does seem a little bizarre that they wouldn't allow you to mark it just because it's underground, but oh well.
I mean, it's not like you have any really obvious, what's the word? There aren't any really obvious checkpoint system here on Underground aside from maybe seeing a objective marker somewhere further down the tunnels, which you might see it has a certain number of meters on it, but aside from that, they're pretty linear. You know, you'll know if you hit something.
Gotcha. I'm sorry, what, are you remote controlling the Batmobile?
Yep. That's something they did in the first video. Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah, look, when I said I watched the first video, I may have meant like the first 30 seconds of the first video.
That's fine. That's
I
fine.
felt that qualified me enough to guest on your LP.
Well, we can go ahead and talk about Bat stuff, which is really what we're all here for. So tell me, what's your experience with the Arkham series?
I believe I own one of the Arkham games. I don't think I've ever actually installed it, so I'm pretty virginal when it comes to the Arkham series.
Nice. And you don't know which one it is. It might be Arkham Asylum, might be Arkham City.
I think I may own Arkham City. I think is City the last one, the third?
No, Origins was the third. Origins was the third one. Yep.
Then it may actually be Origins.
And so, aside from that, have you seen any of the media about it, or have you just seen videos here and there, but nothing significant?
I mean, I've seen the actual Dark Knight trilogy. I'm looking forward actually to the Killing Joke animated movie that's coming out.
That's true. That's happening. What is your overall Bat experience? What would you say your Bat experience level is?
Probably novice. If we're gonna be honest here,
We can be honest.
Not as exposed to Bat as I'd like. Although I did read, I've been reading the Injustice comic series, which I thought was a really neat portrayal of Batman and Superman and actually just about every hero. I thought was done pretty well. Although it seems like they're not wrapping it up well.
Yeah, most of the Injustice that I'm familiar with comes from the basic storyline of the game. But okay. I know there's more to it. I know there's a lot of stuff that happens in between. You know, obviously the beginning of the game, the Joker happens to Superman, and Superman loses his shit.
Yes.
But and then the game just kind of picks up after you know Superman's already happened to Batman, and after they find the Kryptonian drugs and all that kind of thing. So I'm not too familiar with the Injustice comic.
Oh, I will have to speak with you about that a little later. I think I still have I think I have a link to some places where you can pick it up.
And I know when I was working in Korea, I worked with a guy. He was pretty big in the Injustice comics, so I got to hear things here and there about it. And there's always the things like Harley Quinn talking to Green Arrow about, why do you call it the Arrow Cave? Why not call it the Quiver?
Yeah, which, to be fair, definitely a better name.
Yeah, and it's right there. And then they had that whole thing with, was it Black Canary fighting Harley Quinn?
I believe you're correct, yes.
And they were talking about baby stuff. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're bringing me back here. They're in year 5, and as far as I'm aware, the original plan was to just have it be a 5-year series. But the last time I really caught up on it was a few issues into year 5, and it didn't seem like they were really reaching a solid conclusion. So I don't know if they're gonna extend it or what.
It's tough to say. So, aside from the Injustice comic, have you read any of the other Batman comics?
I'm trying to think here. I'm sure I've seen an issue here and there, but no, there haven't been any that I've really followed.
Because I know you were talking about the Killing Joke, but I don't know if you've read the Killing Joke at all.
I did actually read the Killing Joke, yeah. And then when I heard they were bringing Mark Hamill back, I was like, all right, I kind of need to see this.
Yeah, it sounds like that's gonna happen. Because I know one of the comments I got on one of my videos that I was kind of surprised by was and now Kalon Zombie is shitting on the Arkham games. Because Kalon just started doing his Arkham Asylum LP while I was in the middle of this, and that's already finished, by the way. Because Arkham Knight is such a big game.
Okay.
But he had one of his co-commentators went through getting a look at some. He's fairly new, and I just made a cut there because we don't need to go back through the subways. Come on, seriously.
Oh, I was really enjoying seeing you drive up along walls, though. That was really impressive.
Well, too bad. Watch the rest of the LP, you'll see a whole lot more.
I'm not gonna do. Why would I do that?
I don't know. Sometimes I ask myself dumb questions.
I'll tell you what. I'll just watch this video 48 times, so I get the same length, but I get to hear the sound of my voice.
That'll probably be a little bit longer than. I mean, if you watch this video 48 times, it'll be longer because most of the videos are only about half an hour long.
Oh, so you brought me in for a double length episode?
Yes, because this is the Riddler Roundup, and I mean, do you at least know why I call it that?
I think I've been paying enough attention to figure that one out. Yes, Scruffy.
Okay, so why do I call it that?
Because you're fighting the Penguin.
Vengeance burns darkly inside the betrayed.
Yep, that's it. You got it.
I was gonna say that was like a painfully awkward silence. I was like, ah, shit, I'm blowing my chance. But
yeah,
no,
it's just one of those moments where I think, yep, this is what I decided to bring in on this video.
Oh, you wound me, Scruffy. But
For those of you who aren't aware, we're also doing a Castle Crashers co-op VLP with Mateo360 and Chris K? Miss Chris?
Yes. Miss Chris.
Yes. And shibbotech is a gigantic jerk in that game.
Look, so I have a little bit of a greed problem. That doesn't mean anything. Is this really a tile flip game right now?
Yes, it really is. This is really one of the least of the Riddler's diabolical tricks.
Is it even qualified as a riddle? You can just try until you succeed.
Yeah, sure, of course it's a riddle. Why? Of course it's a riddle. Why wouldn't it be? What about this does not strike you as riddles?
All of it?
What? No.
Also, I do love that you're just kind of clicking a remote to flip these. It's pretty nice.
I mean, it even says remote switch on.
Does it? I can't actually read.
That's okay. I mean, that's normally why people have 2 eyes, but some people are differently abled. That's okay.
I have no rebuttal for that. I'm being outwitted. Ugh.
So, I guess since you're not familiar at all with Arkham Knight, it sounds like, would you like a story recap of the entire Arkham series?
I absolutely would. Please enlighten me.
I mean, it's something to do.
Yeah.
So we start out with let's go chronologically. We have Arkham Origins. Arkham Origins was the 3rd game in the Arkham series, and I mean, hey, this is probably good for me too, because this is going to be the last Arkham game I do, as far as I know, unless they make like a Suicide Squad game, which technically isn't Arkham, but whatever. So Arkham Origins. Batman is pretty much a brand new vigilante to the whole thing, and he's really starting to make a dent into this whole mob thing. So much so that one of the primary mobsters, Black Mask, has now put out a, I think it was a $10 million bounty on Batman's head. And he put out the word to about 8 assassins or so. 8 pretty major assassins. These guys are pretty good at their jobs. And these assassins include names you might recognize like Deathstroke, Deadshot, Bane, Lady Shiva.
I do actually recognize those.
Yeah, Firefly.
That one I don't recognize.
Oh, well.
Isn't that a TV show?
Yes it is. So you recognize it.
Ah, okay. Nathan Fillion on the hunt for $10 million.
There you go. Yeah, Nathan Fillion on the hunt. See, I never watched Firefly, so my exposure to Nathan Fillion was Captain Hammer and Dr. Horrible.
Oh, well, there you go. I mean, it's better than no exposure.
Captain Hammer on the hunt. So anyway, $8 million bounty, or $10 million bounty between 8 assassins, and they all obviously want to claim all the money. So, it starts out just a normal night for Batman. He's doing his thing. He's hunting down criminals. He's putting them in jail. And obviously it takes him across some of his nemeses, like the Penguin. But this is before the Penguin is like a particularly gross individual. I mean, he's still maybe he's still considered a legitimate businessman by this point. It's hard to say it's the Penguin.
Okay, fair.
So, through various things, various shenanigans and happenings, Batman takes down Deathstroke, and then he goes... See, now I'm trying to remember Arkham Origins, because it's been a while. There you go, I failed to remember things. Get used to it. Thanks, Riddler. I needed that.
Scruffy the Amnesiac, they call him.
Yep, that's my stage name.
I was actually going to say I really like these little electrical puzzles. I like the theme in this area.
So eventually, as it turns out, it wasn't Black Mask at all. It was the Joker impersonating Black Mask.
Okay.
Yeah, because of course it was. And this is the third game in the Arkham series, and they already had 2 games about Joker. So at this point, everyone was a little disappointed. And this is where, if you've been following the thread at all, you'll start hearing words like Joker Jack being thrown around. Because in all of the Arkham games, the Joker just absolutely hijacks the plot. It's a thing.
I love that it has its own term. That's pretty great.
Yeah. So maybe it was just that the Joker kept popping up. Maybe it's because Rocksteady has nowhere else to go with their stories. Who knows? So the plot gets Joker jacked. And so somebody finally realizes, oh, well, whatever. I guess we're not getting the $10 million anymore, so no big worries. And then some people were like, well, I still need to kill Batman, so I'm going to. That was a little bit of graphical glitching. I don't know what that was. So yeah, this is also an excuse for Bane to pop up in the games and not just be a gigantic brute, because Bane is not always just gigantic brute who gets himself loaded up on venom and then tries to hurt people. At this point, he still has venom, but Bane is still a thinking individual, and he's pretty dangerous for that. He managed to, plot out Batman's weaknesses, stuff like that. And he finds out Batman's secret identity and sends his posse to, smash up the Batcave and hurt Alfred. And then Alfred almost dies. Well, technically Alfred dies, but then he gets CPR, so good for him.
Oh, yes. As a doctor, I can confirm that is all it takes to resurrect the dead.
Exactly. It's a thing. Good robot.
What on earth?
It's a robot. We'll get there.
I gathered that much. I was more
We'll get
concerned
there.
with the turrets.
We'll get there.
Alright, fine. Go. Continue.
So, Bane knows who Batman is. Eventually he gets overloaded with, well, okay. So the Joker gets captured after revealing that he is the Joker. Batman's still trying to take out all of the assassins. Batman takes out most of the assassins, and then Bane starts happening. And then, while Bane is happening, Firefly starts attacking a bridge, and so Batman goes and stops Firefly first to save the bridge, but while he's doing that, Alfred pretty much gets wrecked. And shortly after Alfred gets wrecked, Alfred gets, well, saved by, magic bat CPR. I'm pretty sure that's a technical term, magic bat CPR.
I can confirm. You actually, it's a master technique you need to pick up before they give you your doctorate.
Yeah, so magic bat CPR happens. And now the Joker is staging a riot at Blackgate. which is the other prison that Arkham universe has. Not everything happens in Arkham Asylum.
I had 4 times as much brown
I
furrowing
actually
allocated to
didn't
that
know there
riddle
was an
as
additional
anything.
prison. I just assumed every criminal in Gotham was completely batshit insane.
Yeah, well, they are. Oh, by the way, here's the wreckage of the old Batmobile. RIP. We hardly
Oh.
knew you. And there's the excavator. Yep. Dead Batmobile. Anyway.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It happens. So, Batman goes to the Blackgate prison, suppresses the riot, beats the hell out of the Joker, and he overloads Bane on his Venom formula, and then Bane just has a, I don't know, what you call it, a mental breakdown, I guess?
Psychotic break, good.
Not even a psychotic break, like, I mean literally mental breakdown, like he starts having short-term memory loss, so he no longer knows that Batman is Bruce Wayne.
Oh, that's convenient.
Right? Crisis averted.
Huh.
It's great. So, that's pretty much the end of Arkham Origins. Any questions so far?
Well, 2 things. 1, you're a magnificent storyteller. 2, that sounds like one of the biggest ass pulls I've ever heard.
Just wait until you watch the rest of the videos in this game.
That's not happening.
Yeah, I figured.
Nah, you know I will. I'll even
Uh-huh.
post in your thread.
And maybe we'll even watch the other videos. Well, let's not go too far.
Nah,
Let's
I'm
not
sure
get
I-
crazy. So anyway, next game chronologically is Arkham Asylum, which is what started this whole thing. So, and just FYI, the difference between Arkham Asylum and Blackgate Prison
I should use the
is,
winch. If I drive the car
Blackgate
off
is
the
for
ledge, it's not getting
normal
back out.
criminals. People who aren't necessarily psychotic, like the Penguin. The Penguin would not be in Arkham Asylum because the Penguin is not psychotic, he's just a criminal.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, same thing for people like, oh, who's another one? I don't know, most of Batman's villains are psychotic.
So, would Poison Ivy count? Is she psychotic or just weird?
Poison Ivy is considered psychotic. Deadshot and Deathstroke would both be in Blackgate because they're not psychotic, they're just killers for hire. Does that about make sense so far?
I mean, it makes sense, but I kind of... I don't know, I feel like if you're a killer for hire, you're at least a little bit psychotic.
No, it's fine. I mean, you have stable employment at least.
Okay, that's fair.
So yeah,
Oh,
and
good
then
reflex puzzle. Love it.
You failed.
And I failed. And that won't stop. Stop before I even had a chance to fail. So anyway, yeah, Arkham Asylum is where most of Batman's villains go, because most of them have issues. And there's a couple of Batman Elseworlds, Elseworlds I think is what the comic line is called, where Batman is, instead of becoming Batman, like maybe becomes a psychologist, and sometimes he actually helps people in Arkham Asylum.
I'm not surprised. Try.
Because a lot of these people are eminently fixable, it's just the system is broken as hell. And some of these people are just insane.
Right.
So anyway, Arkham Asylum. So, the Joker has just finished taking the mayor hostage, if I recall right, which I'm pretty sure that was it. And of course, being the Joker, he gets stopped. Also, maybe I have to explain this a bit. You have to roll these balls down to the bottom,
Oh, by triggering those little flaps. Love it.
which seems easy enough, right?
I'm sorry, do you have a gun of some sort on your Batmobile?
Yes, we'll get to that.
You keep saying it, but I don't know if I believe you.
Well, you haven't watched any of the videos, so you'll have to wait till we get there. So this gets more complicated when there's two balls at once. And if one of the balls fails to go through, then it just resets you back down to 0. Or back to 1 ball. So you have to get both balls down at the same time, which is a little bit complicated. So anyway,
That sounds pretty irritating.
yeah, a little bit. That's the Riddler. Stuff like that happens at the very end. So anyway, Arkham Asylum. Batmobile is being used to transport the Joker to Arkham Asylum because the Joker is an insane criminal mastermind, apparently. But everything's kind of coming together strangely. Like, it seems like the Joker gave up a little bit too easily. Blackgate Prison had to shut down because of a fire. So, a lot of the prisoners that are normally being taken at Blackgate are now instead at Arkham Asylum, just because, well, they have to keep prisoners somewhere. And coincidentally, a lot of these guys are all most of Joker's old gang. So, you know, that's a little bit shifty,
How very convenient.
right? So they go to put the Joker in jail, and of course the Joker breaks out as soon as he's out of Batman's grasp. I mean, pretty much literally as soon as he's out of Batman's grasp, he breaks out. Because apparently prison guards are incompetent.
Well,
Let's not go
just
for
kind
any,
of-
let's not go for too many hot takes right now. So, Joker breaks out of custody, and Harley Quinn apparently has already done her part to take over the asylum. She's got control of the security monitors, and she lets out some of the prisoners, and now, well, shenanigans are afoot. So Batman has to start fighting his way through Arkham Asylum, which is not under his or anybody else's control, while, you know, the inmates are, well, running the asylum, because everybody loves to say words like that. The inmates are running the asylum, huh? And I screwed that up. Oh well. And it just magically reappears at the top. Huzzah! So yeah, the inmates are running the asylum. You run into all kinds of Batman's Rogues Gallery, which was really neat at the time, because this is the first time that anything of that scope had been undertaken in Batman, and it had been done well, because there were games like Rise of Sin Tzu and Dark Tomorrow, and yeah, they had Batman villains, but yeah, they were also really garbage.
all right.
I mean really garbage. Like, we're talking super garbage. Maybe not make Daikatana look good garbage, but still pretty garbage. So, some of the villains you run into are Killer Croc, Poison Ivy, the Joker, obviously. I don't think you run to... No, you don't run to Two-Face. He's not in that one. Scarecrow, he has a couple of pretty memorable moments inside the asylum, where he does stuff like shoot you up with some fear toxin. It starts messing up with the... one of the best scenes they have is it's almost like your game crashes. Like, the video just goes all wonky, and it looks like it has a lot of screen tearing going on.
Oh, like a
Yeah.
like a Psycho Mantis moment type deal.
Yeah, like a Psycho Mantis moment. And then it looks like the game restarts from the intro screen,
lead to
only
a
instead
dead
of
end.
the...
I won't be able to get the
instead
car
of
back
Batman
on.
driving the Batmobile, it's Joker driving the Batmobile.
Oh. Okay.
And they're sending Batman to Arkham Asylum because, well, obviously he's insane. Obviously.
Naturally.
Naturally. So, through a whole lot of shenanigans, it turns out the Joker has a plan, and it's pretty goofy. So, Joker has been working with one of the scientists, one of the psychologists at Arkham Asylum, under a different name. He's been going by Joseph Kerr, because that's one of his better-known names, or Jack White, I think, was the name he used, actually. They're both pretty well-known names for the Joker, so, well, joke's on the psychologist. But she gets cold feet eventually. What she's been working on is they have
Moving
Bane
elevator
in
is too
custody.
dangerous from this
And
position.
what they've been doing with Bane is they've been pumping the venom out of him and refining it into something called Titan.
I believe I actually know where this is going, because if this is what I think it is, I recall the boss fight against a really buff Joker basically being
That's
called
it.
absolute bullshit and really stupid and completely ruining the characterization of Joker.
That's the one.
Good. Good.
So-
It's-
Yeah, to continue. So you fight with Bane. It's a really super weak fight where all you have to do is wait for him to start charging, throw a battering in his face, and then he runs into a wall and hurts himself. That's it.
oh, good.
Arkham Asylum had really garbage boss fights, and I mean really garbage boss fights. Granted, you know, a lot of the boss fights in the Arkham series haven't always been great, but Arkham Asylum had some really garbage boss fights. So anyway, turns out the only person who can really manufacture a cure for Titan, well, Poison Ivy's plants are naturally occurring and naturally fighting the toxin, or the Titan, because of course they are. The only problem is Joker gives Poison Ivy some of the Titan, and now it's making her go mad with power, as Poison Ivy tends to do. So, you get the antidote, you only get one shot of it. At the very end, Joker finally starts his party because he's had time to screw around with everything else in the asylum, and Batman's had time to screw around with everybody else in the asylum. So finally, he goes to the party, beats up a few Titan henchmen, which are just really huge buff dudes. I took this the wrong way. Oh well. Really huge buff dudes who you fight the same way as Bane, because of course you do. And then Joker's like, you've been ruining everything. I have no more reason to live. Oh yeah, turns out, by the way, during this, Joker also captured Commissioner Gordon.
Okay.
Because of course he did. I'm still not entirely sure how, but Commissioner Gordon was supposed to leave the area on a boat, and apparently he didn't quite make it. He just got tied up by the Joker. Because that's a thing.
Good. No, it's
Yeah.
solid. It's a very, very satisfactory explanation.
Yeah, so Joker threatens to shoot Commissioner Gordon with the Titan, and Batman's like, no, I'm going to be heroic, and he dives in the way, and he gets shot in the chest by the Titan instead.
Okay.
And then Joker gets all ticked off, and he's like, yes, this is going to be cool now. We're going to fight. We're going to fight like monsters. And he starts trying to urge Batman to change, but Batman and his willpower are resisting the change.
I don't think that's how toxins work.
It's happening. So, Batman continues to resist the change, and Joker's like, you're ruining everything. I have nothing left to live for. And then he shoots himself up with the juice. And then he turns into a huge monster. And then that's where you see gigantic buff Joker pop up on the roof of Arkham Asylum. And then he's got Batman in his hand, and he's saying, stop trying to fight it. The only way you can beat me is by becoming a freak. And then Batman uses the antidote on himself, so he is no longer changing. Good for Batman.
Yes.
So then you take out Joker by running around until he stops trying to swipe at you, beating up his henchmen, and then he turns around and starts showboating for the helicopters that are circling around the island. And then while he's showboating, you just use the bat claw, and you pull him down to the ground. He gets his gigantic Joker claws embedded in the wooden floor, and then you punch him in the face 3 times, and you do that 3 times. That's it.
Sounds like a very riveting final boss.
It was an
truly.
extremely riveting final boss. It was fantastic. So, Joker gets beaten up. Batman does a thing at the end where he sprays some explosive gel on his gauntlet, and that's what he uses to punch Joker in the face for the last time. Because, explodey fists.
Yeah, you'd think that would kill him.
The Joker? No,
Yeah.
He's a comic book villain.
Oh, right.
Even when they die, they come back.
Skin of titanium, blood of liquid carbon.
So anyway, that was Arkham Asylum. Now, at the time, Arkham Asylum was planned to be a standalone game. So they weren't planning on it going anywhere else, so it was really neat when it did, and Arkham City happened, and Arkham City was really good. There was a bit of a cut there, but this trophy was actually really hard for me to find because I was dumb.
You? Never.
Yes. So it looks like it's on the bottom floor, but as it turns out, you have to head through an elevator shaft to get there. Because, it's tricky like that. So, yep, it's down at the bottom of this elevator shaft. And I screwed that up. Oh well, whatever. Thanks, game. So anyway, Arkham City happens. Arkham City is pretty neat because there was a small bit of foreshadowing in it for Arkham Asylum where there was this really, really secret room. And inside the secret room, the warden of Arkham Asylum, Quincy Sharp, he has this his plans on this desk for Arkham City. And, well, Arkham City comes to pass. What Arkham City is basically they buy a part of old Gotham, and they just turn it into a maximum security prison facility. They just wall off the area, and they fill it up with criminals, and they leave it for broke.
That sounds like the worst idea.
If by worst you mean the best idea, then yes, you are absolutely correct. Because that's what you meant by that, right? Best idea?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so yes, the best idea. And this is all being the psychiatrist in charge of, well, the head psychiatrist, I get, or is it psychologist?
Probably psychiatrist. Psychiatrists can prescribe medication.
Yeah, so probably psychiatrist. I know there's a difference. Yes, the head psychiatrist of Arkham City now is Hugo Strange. Does that name mean anything to you?
Why does that? It sounds vaguely familiar, but I couldn't place it.
If you've seen any of the Batman animated series, he appeared a few times.
Nah, it's not ringing a bell.
Well, we'll get there. So, and I've been saying that, but now we're getting the story for Arkham City, which is exactly where we get there. So in Arkham City, you start out, Bruce Wayne is campaigning against Arkham City because, let's face it, you don't really want a maximum security prison in the middle of your city. Especially when it's as sprawling and there have been weapons flooding into the area. It's not exactly a positive moment for your city when you have weapons inside the city and constant gang wars and fights. Only now it's more centralized, so everybody's happy.
I mean, property values must have just tanked in the general vicinity, though.
Yeah. So, Bruce Wayne is campaigning against Arkham City, and Hugo Strange has been running these tiger teams, is what he calls them. And which is actually a term for, you work in IT, right? You know what a tiger team is.
I do, but why don't you tell the viewers?
So in the IT world, a tiger team is a sort of a penetration testing team. They come in to test your system security, and usually you're not given any notice that they'll be there. They'll let someone higher up know, like an executive or somebody, but they're just there to see how is your system response to invasions.
Oh, no, that's right. I've
Yeah,
bumped
that's-
into the
that's
term
the-
before. Okay,
yeah.
yeah. All right.
Yeah. That's not these tiger teams. These tiger teams are sort of paramilitary. Like, they're very specialized Arkham City guards. Only, you know, obviously they're not doing a very good job guarding Arkham City because they're spending a lot of their time trying to hunt down the Batman. Because, of course, they are.
Right.
Why wouldn't they be? So, the Tiger Team pops out and captures Bruce Wayne while he's campaigning against Arkham City in front of Arkham City. Because, of course, that's a brilliant idea.
Right. No, it's
But
flawless.
basically, yeah, so Bruce Wayne gets brought into the processing line, and he's in shackles and all this and that. And Hugo Strange comes and talks to him and says, man, I gotta thank you, you know, Bruce Wayne's a lot easier to capture than Batman. And Bruce Wayne's been studying Batman for a while, like getting all of his techniques down, stuff like that, just to make these Tiger Teams specifically so that he can capture Batman or defeat Batman. And the entire reason for this is, well, we don't find that out till later, so I'll leave it till later. But what winds up happening, later, I know. What winds up happening is Bruce Wayne gets tossed into Arkham City, you know, to fend for himself. And, but he's still got his, you know, communicators and whatnot, so he starts communicating with Alfred and saying, yeah, just as planned, I got tossed into Arkham City, this is great. Can you go ahead and send me the, the bat suit? So the Batwing flies over, drops him the Batmobile, or drops him the bat suit into one of his little bat pods, because everything is bat. Bat rules my life.
Of course.
Of course, why wouldn't it?
Oh, that's good.
But, oh yes, there's also a side story going on at the same time. One of the DLCs they did for Arkham City is the Catwoman DLC, which is where you also get to run around as Catwoman in Arkham City doing Arkham things. And one of the first things she does is she works with, well, mostly she's just trying to get money from Two-Face, because that's what Catwoman does, you know, get paid.
Of course.
But her entire thing is, well, now Two-Face has kind of got me locked up, all this and that. It's bad times, bad juju all around. That comes into play slightly later, because after Batman is in Arkham City now, and he's got his Batsuit on, the first thing that happens is Two-Face appears on a giant intercom system saying, hey, please come to the courthouse where you get to watch us judge Catwoman. Court is now in session for the trial of Catwoman. That's my Two-Face impression. I thought it was pretty good.
It was very solid.
Yeah.
I can see where your drama chops come from, you know? It's
yes,
pretty
that's
good.
me. Drama choppy.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Batman breaks into the courthouse. Nope, messing with my video controls there, or camera controls. Oop. Batman breaks in the courthouse, saves Catwoman. She said, "Oh, I had it all along." And while he's talking to Catwoman, after he strings up Two-Face, the Joker tries to kill Catwoman by using a sniper rifle.
What?
Yes, it's a thing.
That-
Now, as with everything with the Joker, there's more to it. We're getting there. The plot hasn't been Joker jacked yet. We're getting there.
You know there's only
happens.
there's only like 25 minutes left in the video or something like that, right? Like we're
I'll
running
speed
out of
up.
time here.
We
man.
spent like the first 15 minutes establishing that you know nothing about the series.
Okay, that's fair. That's continue, oh Batbard.
Yes, that's me, Batbird. So, the Joker shoots the sniper rifle, he misses Catwoman, Batman goes to investigate the shot at the top of the clock tower, there's bombs everywhere. And the Joker's just saying, hey, I was just trying to get your attention. Hi, I'm still here.
Okay.
That was pretty much it. So, so Batman goes to track down the Joker's radio signal, and of course the Joker is in the Joker section of Arkham City, because all the major powers have set up their own sections. You have the Penguin. Two-Face doesn't really have one. He was trying to set one up, and that's why he was going to execute Catwoman, is because I need to make people recognize that I'm here. You have the Penguin section, you have Two-Face is working on a section, and you have the Joker's section. Those are the three major sections.
Okay.
So, Batman goes and tracks down the Joker, and he finds the Joker sitting in a wheelchair, only Joker's not looking so good. It looks like his little Titan encounter left him with this, incurable blood disease. It's not good. So the Joker's dying, and that's great.
That's rather unfortunate. Fortunately, I have the healing touch, so...
Maybe not this time.
That's
Sorry, Dr. Styles.
Come on, we can cure the incurable.
Yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd like that, wouldn't you?
No, I mean, Joker sounds like a bit of a dick. He can probably just die, it's fine.
Yeah. So, Batman confronts the Joker, and the Joker's in a wheelchair, and the Joker's totally dead. Like, he flatlined and everything. Only it turns out the Joker is behind him, and he gasses him. And now Batman's passed out. You fell for the old fake Joker gag. That's exactly what he says. So,
okay. No, that's good.
Batman wakes up in a wheelchair, with blood being pumped into him, like he's got an IV bag on him. And the Joker points out, and Batman's like, "You weren't sick at all. You were fine this whole time." And the Joker, comes to the light, and you can see he's really sick. Like, it looks like, Titan really screwed him up.
Mm-hmm.
And then he points out to Batman, "Yeah, my blood's totally killing me. But, no worries. Now, so my blood's in you, too." So then Batman says, "Oh, well, that's fine. Obviously I'm being poisoned by the Joker, but if we both die, hey, that's cool." And Joker says, "If only it was so easy, Batman. I've also spent weeks shipping out my blood to other hospitals throughout the city." This is where the Joker Jack starts.
With some good old-fashioned medical terrorism.
Yes, medical terrorism. Bioterrorism. Not chirality, but bioterrorism.
You know more about my LP than I know about my LP. This is awful. Oh, God.
This is something awful.
Keep talking about the plot.
So anyway.
Oh, it's a chimp puzzle. Good.
Yes, it is a chimp puzzle. The chimps follow you. And then they release the, once they're in the right position, which you have to move them onto, otherwise they just follow you. So you've put the gates down to keep them from following you. They release the thing.
Oh, good.
So yes, shenanigans happen. To track down the Joker's cure, you have to track down Mr. Freeze. To track down Mr. Freeze, first you have to beat up the Penguin, who has, 1, kidnapped Mr. Freeze, and 2, locked up the GCPD morgue, which is where Mr. Freeze is doing his experiments. Only it turns out Mr. Freeze is going to need a little bit more work. He needs help from Ra's al Ghul, who, by the way, is totally in Arkham City. Do you know who Ra's al Ghul is?
Isn't he like the immortal one, more or less?
Yes.
The Lazarus Pit, something or other?
Yep, the Lazarus Pit guy.
See, I'm a novice. I'm not completely.
Yeah, no, I'm just checking so I can see what I have to explain.
No, I know.
So you track down Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul's totally sick, and he's still trying to get Batman to, take over his mantle as the head of the League of Assassins. Batman doesn't want it, because Batman is an assassin. It's worth mentioning that as you're going through the process of tracking Ra's al Ghul down, the poison blood is actually coming into effect and reducing your maximum health.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of neat.
Yeah, no, having some actual gameplay and story integration, that's nice.
Yeah, so you go through an underground city next to the Lazarus Pit called Wonder City, and you're fighting ninjas because that's what the League of Assassins are. They're ninjas. Because they're jerks.
Right.
That's the reason.
Oh, that's good.
But, so, you track down Ra's al Ghul. He gives you a little taste of the Lazarus Pit, enough to keep Batman going. And that's really what's needed, because it restores your health back to full, and you're not dying anymore. But, so you go through the process of proving to Ra's that you are a worthy successor, and you just turn him down. Then you have a boss fight with Ra's al Ghul, and it's pretty cool.
Okay.
It was pretty neat, though. And then you have a blood sample from Ra's, which is what Mr. Freeze needed to complete the Joker's cure. So you get the blood sample back to Mr. Freeze, only Mr. Freeze decides, oh, by the way, the reason they were... so the entire thing that's got me in here and what's got me working on this, they kidnapped my wife, Nora Freeze, and if you know anything about Mr. Freeze, Nora is his entire thing.
Yes.
So Mr. Freeze starts holding the cure hostage for Nora Freeze. And Batman's like, really? We're not playing this game. I'm not gonna do this blackmail thing. Come on, Victor, we know this. So then you have a boss fight with Mr. Freeze, and it is probably the best boss fight in the entire series, because it's a really neat, it's a Predator boss fight. and I highly, highly, highly recommend you watch it. It's very good. Like, play it if you can, but watch it if you can't. It's super good.
Alright, well, I guess I'm gonna have to binge watch your LP while I'm working tonight.
So anyway, you beat up Mr. Freeze, only it turns out while you were fighting Mr. Freeze, Harley Quinn came along, drilled in the back of the safe where Mr. Freeze stored the cure, and now Harley has the cure.
Okay.
And she's going to give it to Joker. So now you go back to tracking down the Joker to try and get some cure, so that you can give it to some of the rest of the city and not die. Because that would be good. So you go through the process, you find out that it looks like Joker's already been cured, only, I think some rocks fall on Batman. Yeah, rocks fall, Batman gets flattened. Because at the same time, Professor Hugo Strange, it's been going on in the background, but Professor Strange has been working on Protocol 10, and Protocol 10 is something nobody really knows. That's what starts Batman out, is he's trying to figure out what Protocol 10 is. Turns out Protocol 10 is a plan to kill all the criminals inside Arkham City. Like, with giant missiles from Wonder Tower, helicopters shooting everybody. Yeah, that's the plan.
I question many of the logistics behind this entire plan, but continue.
So the entire idea is, obviously Arkham City has been a failure. There's so many weapons in the city now, it's just a dangerous place. So, the only answer to all the gang violence is to kill everybody.
Nothing eradicates violence quite like genocide.
Nothing eradicates violence quite like violence. There you go, you got it. So, a missile hits the Iron Foundry where Joker's base is, and rocks fall on Batman, and Batman gets wrecked. So Joker's about to kill Batman, only Talia al Ghul, who is Ra's al Ghul's daughter, she's also more or less evil, but she's also like Batman's lover? It's complicated.
Okay.
it's complicated.
I don't think Batman really loves anyone.
Nope, he loves Talia al Ghul. Or at least, he has a thing for Talia. Yeah.
Good, I think. I don't know how to feel.
Anyway, Talia comes along and stops Joker by saying, "We can give you the gift of immortality," offering him the Lazarus Pit.
Why?
He's like, no. Oh, we'll get there. It's dumb. That's really it. It's just dumb. So, now this is happening. So Batman goes to this, you have this another moment as Catwoman, where Catwoman is, finishing up her theft of Two-Face's stuff. Only now she has this choice between, well, I could escape with Two-Face's stuff, or what I came in here to start with, or I could go save Batman. And of course, Catwoman, being the good person she is, goes to save Batman. Thanks, Catwoman.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, this is pretty thick thighs there, Batman.
Yeah, Batman has right massive. Champ. Batman has massive thews.
Yeah, that's wow.
He works out.
Getting a little flustered over here.
So anyway, the first. Batman's obviously first priority is, oh, I should go save Talia. But then Alfred pops in and like, nope, sorry, you're gonna go save the city because Protocol 10's happening. We can't let all these people die. So you go to the top of Wonder Tower and you go to confront Hugo Strange, and you stop Protocol 10, and you beat the crap out of Hugo Strange, and it's great. Only it turns out, Hugo Strange, he's like, oh no, I failed, my master. And it turns out Ra's al Ghul planned the whole thing. Ra's al Ghul is behind Protocol 10.
Oh.
Because he was offering Hugo Strange the chance to become the new head of the League of Assassins. All he had to do was kill all of Gotham's criminals.
But then who would the League of Assassins assassinate? What?
Well,
good innocent people? Is that
there's
the plan?
There's more criminals than just in Gotham.
Nah.
It's just, you have to kill Gotham in order to prove that you're better than Batman, and therefore, you go from there. It's a very clear delineation.
No, of course. It's the most only the most logical and linear of plots.
Yeah. So,
I can feel my brain cells dying, and it's not from the alcohol.
Yeah, so Batman obviously stops Hugo Strange, and obviously Ra's al Ghul takes this as a hint that, oh, you failed, so I'm going to stab you now. So Hugo Strange gets stabbed.
Okay, good.
And then, with his dying breath, he says, computer, activate.
Simon's open.
I don't remember what he calls the protocol, but it's a protocol to where he dies, but it also blows up Wonder Tower.
Oh.
So now, Ra's al Ghul is caught in the middle of booms. Ra's al Ghul is caught in the middle of an explosion, only he still doesn't die because, well, he jumps out the window and Batman jumps with him, and Batman's trying to catch Ra's al Ghul to keep him from dying from the impact. Only Ra's, being the smart guy he is, pulls out his sword and impales himself, hoping to also impale Batman, but Batman lets him go, and then Ra's al Ghul just, like, falls onto the Arkham City entryway, which is also spiked, and he's totally dead. Ra's al Ghul is dead.
Okay.
That happens.
That sounds like a remarkable. I'm assuming that's like a full-on cutscene.
Yes, yeah, it is.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, so Ra's al Ghul is dead. And now you get to go track down the Joker, because the Joker is in Monarch Theater, behind which, you know, Crime Alley, Batman's parents died. His parents are dead.
Dude, that's spoilers. Come on.
Yeah, sorry. And he also has taken Talia al Ghul hostage, because of course he has.
Good.
Yeah. So, he goes to save Talia. He takes out all the snipers surrounding the building. He goes inside, starts fighting the Joker, only it turns out it's not the Joker at all. It was Clayface pretending to be the Joker.
This... I followed through, like, Origins pretty well, and then it got a little muddled around Asylum, and now I'm just kind of, like, staring at this horrifying flowchart of events that I've been trying to scroll out, that
and I'm kind of... This is a very abridged series of events.
I figured, but still.
Yeah. No, so, the Joker hired Clayface to pretend to be him, and pretend to be him while he was healthy. And,
Accessing the
yeah,
airship
no, it's a
stability from
thing.
here is too
So,
dangerous. I can be
the
crushed.
Clayface has been pretending to be the Joker while he's healthy. Meanwhile, the Joker is still around, and he's still doing shenanigans. He still really has captured Talia. He just thinks Batman has the cure. As it turns out, Talia had the cure the whole time. Like, she stopped Harley on the way to the Foundry and took the cure. But she was just waiting for Batman to kill the Joker. Out the window it goes. That's the intended solution.
Is it really? I mean, that was pretty sweet.
Some of these riddles are actually a little clever. Like, you have to send it flying out the window to crack the box so you can get the trophy inside.
I know. I mean, it's a pretty beautiful launch too.
Yeah, I give it a 9 out of 10.
Man, those water effects are really sweet too.
Yeah, that's the power of the PS4, and also the Xbox One and PC, presumably.
It's a very pretty game. I like it.
Also, this is the wrong box. It's actually a different box. Actually, early in the LP, there was another box that went out the window. This is the second one. So anyway.
Good. These riddles are so clever, we reused them a few times.
Well, no, it wasn't a riddle the first time. It was just fun to do. So anyway.
Okay.
So you beat up Clayface, and Clayface falls in the Lazarus Pit. Well, Clayface falls in the Lazarus Pit area, and then Batman, like, chops him into the Lazarus Pit, and so the Lazarus Pit blows up. And Clayface is in it, which might have been a plot hook for Arkham Knight, but it never came to fruition. But obviously Joker can't use the Lazarus Pit anymore either, so he gets a little nervous about the cure, and he jumps out, and Batman's got like half the cure in his hand, and he's like, shit, what am I going to do with this? Then Joker pops out of nowhere and stabs him. He stabs Batman, and of course Batman, in response to getting stabbed, drops the cure, and it splatters on the ground. And now Joker's like, oh no, my cure, I'm going to die now. And Batman says, you know what's funny? I still probably would have cured you. And then Joker dies laughing by saying, that actually is pretty funny. Joker actually dies laughing. Which is pretty much the only way the Joker could go out, let's be honest.
I was going to say, that seems like a very, very fitting end.
Yeah. So then the end of the game is, they have this picture that keeps popping up throughout Arkham City, but the end of the game is Batman carrying the Joker out of Arkham City, like, in his arms. And the Joker's totally dead. It's a thing. Joker's not coming back.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Goody.
So, then Arkham Knight came about, and instead of explaining Arkham Knight, I'm going to request that you watch the LP because I don't want to re-explain Arkham Knight for everybody that's been with me for the last 46 videos.
Oh, so this is Arkham Knight? I thought this was Batman Begins.
Well, there you go. There you've learned something. So, do
I'm
you have
stunned.
any burning questions about the Arkham games that I can answer for you at this point?
I don't really... Well, first off, what were they smoking when they came up with that ridiculously convoluted plot for City? But beyond that, no, for the most part, it's just kind of... you did a really good job explaining that there. And I will
those really are the cliff notes.
I seriously will. I've been meaning to catch up on the LP for a while now, and it's just been getting shifted to third shift and stuff, and starting my own LP. But yeah, no, that was good. You're a fantastic storyteller. Appreciate it.
Aw, I'm blushing.
Aw, me too.
You're weird.
Oh, you just figured this out now?
No, I just felt the need to vocalize it.
No, I appreciate it. They call me Shibbo the Bizarre.
So the entire, I'll just give you the opening gambit for, and some of the hints towards Arkham Knight. There was a secret room, because we still have about 10 minutes.
Okay.
There was a secret room, much like there was an Arkham Asylum that was pointing towards Arkham City. There was this room that, it looked like there were a bunch of cockroaches everywhere, kind of like these boxes that we've been smashing up in these airships. Boxes of cockroaches. And there's this guy who's just, like, strapped to a chair, and the dude is totally comatose with fear, apparently. And there's a couple of invoices in the secret room about shipments to a Dr. Jonathan Crane, who is the Scarecrow. And so as it turns out, the Scarecrow has still been working on perfecting his fear toxin wherever else, because that's what he does. It's fear.
Yeah, it's kind of his thing.
It's kind of his thing, yeah. So you bust into the secret room. This dude's like dead. There are also a couple of hidden radio transmissions. Like you have these, you have the ability to listen in on a couple different things on your little handheld scanner. And one of them is after the game, if you go to certain coordinates, you find a series of ciphered messages. That's probably not the word. Encrypted messages. That's it.
Okay.
And to decrypt the messages, you have to do increasing more complicated stuff. One of them is just a backwards alphabet cipher, like 1 equals Z, 2 equals Y.
Yeah, the reverse, the backward Route 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not even Route 13. It's I think it's a Caesarian cipher.
Oh no, you're correct, because that's a rotate.
Yeah.
I'm good at cryptography. All right, fuck you. No.
The other one is a Caesarian with Route 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yep. And then the final one is an at-bash cipher.
Oh, lovely.
With the keyword Scarecrow, which, did giveaway.
Right, but I wouldn't have had an at-bash actually figured. That's actually really neat.
Yeah. So that was really interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't figure that out for myself because, God, no. I looked that up.
Okay, that's perfectly fair.
But, yeah, so as it turns out, yes, the Scarecrow is the main villain this time around. He's gotten all of Batman's villains together, for one last hurrah. He's perfected his fear toxin, and he threatens Gotham by saying, if you don't evacuate the city in 24 hours, I'm going to unleash my fear toxin on the entire place, and it's going to be great. And obviously they don't want that to happen, so they evacuate the whole place then within 24 hours. Except for all the criminals who want to stay behind because they're all jerks.
Mm-hmm.
So now the only people left in Gotham City are criminals and police. And also firemen because, they just want to stay back to help.
That's good. They're
good
that's
like
noble.
that. Only they get kidnapped. They're a side quest.
Open.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because of course they do. Come on.
Simon Stagg. Open.
Why wouldn't they?
Asking the important questions.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the gist of Arkham Knight, and that's a gun.
So it is. But no, okay, that's fair. You've piqued my interest.
Yeah, I mean, hey, don't feel like you have to watch the other games. I mean, don't even feel like you have to watch this one. It clearly didn't stop you.
Oh, all right. No, it's good. Oh, now I feel like a jerk for not actually watching this.
That's okay.
I
came in expecting somewhat of a modicum of bat knowledge, but that's okay. It was an exercise in making things up, and I think I managed.
Yeah, none of that stuff is
an exercise in
actually
ad-libbing.
true. Yeah.
Because I didn't really have anything planned for this, but this certainly wasn't it.
No, it's good. a little 1 hour improv session between two friends. Solid.
Yeah, that was it. So hopefully you found this entertaining.
I most certainly did.
Oh, good.
It was. I really need to get a little bit more into the whole comic book scene in general, but we'll have to talk a little more about Injustice after this.
I mentioned a few times the only comic books I've read before this. Well, I mean, I've read some. Is mostly trade paperbacks. I've never been a huge comic book follower. It's not like I have. I don't have Batman number 671 sitting somewhere. Do they even have a Batman 671? I don't know. They probably do.
We should find out.
Well, I mean, it would only be 5 issues after Batman 666, which would guaranteed be a big issue.
Probably, yeah.
Guaranteed.
Devil Bat.
But I haven't paid attention to all the New 52. I have always enjoyed DC Comics more than Marvel Comics, but maybe that's because DCs are the only ones that I've
I mean, yeah, I feel like that would probably indicate some level of bias.
But mostly what it's been for me is, I think I read Batman R.I.P. was the one that I first started on, and then I started getting all the Crisis series because Batman R.I.P. was based around Final Crisis. And that's when I started reading Final Crisis, and that's why I wanted to get into Infinite Crisis, and then I got into some more of the, smaller Bat stories from there, like The Killing Joke, and Batman Year One, and The Long Halloween, and ones like that.
Yeah, I've mostly read like the little, I guess, kind of vignette type deals where it's self-contained, single issue stories.
Yeah. And that's the other reason I brought up Kalon Zombie's LP much earlier on, is one of his co-commentators was going through experiencing some of the Bat media for the first time.
Okay.
So he went through and read The Killing Joke. He did a few different things. I know there's write-ups on a bunch of it. But stuff like, for somebody who hasn't seen a lot of the stuff, like, if you've never watched the animated series, going back and seeing it from a, years onwards perspective, the animated series is still pretty good.
I did see Batman Beyond, and actually really enjoyed that. That was surprisingly dark and heavy for what was effectively a kid's cartoon.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And Batman Beyond is one of the... So nobody's really sure where the Arkham series is going from here. I mean, obviously... I'm not going to spoil the ending, but things happen, and a continued Batman game with this Batman is not likely.
Okay, that's fair.
So...
Actually, that's a question I've been meaning to ask. So I assume, is this post-game collection at this point?
Yes.
Your main story is completely
We have finished
done?
the main story.
Okay.
This is all post-game collection because the Riddler has a giant robot. But in order to prove ourselves worthy of fighting the giant robot, he wants us to collect all of his riddles first.
So you're basically just looking for a bonus boss here.
Yes. That's pretty much it. And technically, I could end the game now, but to get the full secret ending, I have to do all of the most wanted missions, of which the Riddler is one.
Okay, that makes sense. Enough. Why does he have a giant robot?
Because the Riddler. He's got problems. Like, if anything else has become apparent in this game, it's that Edward Nygma, the Riddler, has some serious problems, which, oh, by the way, I should have mentioned. The Riddler still has some of his informants, placing these Riddler trophies everywhere around, but he decided he can't trust people, so instead he made his own army of Riddler bots to do some of this stuff.
Are those the robots that you've been bumping into? Okay. No, that makes sense.
Told you we'd get there.
There it is. And, like, not a moment too soon.
As for the Batmobile having guns, at a certain point Batman realized, and this goes in the story of Arkham Knight, which again I'm not going to go too much into, but Batman realized maybe there's some crap on the horizon that I really need to be ready for. So he talks to Lucius Fox, and he gets a non-lethal, like a beanbag gun put on the Batmobile. He also gets a 60mm cannon.
That does not sound non-lethal.
It's not non-lethal at all. If anything, I would say it is lethal. Good thing you never shoot anybody with it. Thanks, Batman.
Yeah,
and
no,
he
that's
also
very
gets
good.
a Vulcan gun put on it, which is also never used to shoot people. Again, I'm not going to go into why the Batmobile has guns, but you can always watch the LP and find out.
You've sold me on it. I'm gonna have to. Mainly because who the hell needs a Vulcan turret, a beanbag turret, and a 60mm cannon on your goddamn car?
Batman.
Well, obviously.
In fact, it's one of the things all the thugs constantly point out. Why does Batman need a tank? And you know what? I'm not going to tell you why, because you haven't watched any of the videos.
I'm going to assume the answer is just because he's the goddamn Batman.
If you even watched the first video, you would know why. I'm just going to say that.
You're just going to continue to give me shit? Look, I watched like the first 30 seconds. Alright, it's enough. I came prepared.
So anyway, thank you for joining me. Thank you for giving me a challenge. Be sure not to check out shibbotech's Under the Knife LP.
Yeah, no, it's garbage. Vote 1.
And see you next time.
Peace, everyone. Oh, that was fun. Beautiful. I'm so sorry.